Well, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and companies across the country are reopening. We'll be talking to a workplace culture expert who helped welcome back his employees in a very unique way. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, it has been a brutal year, right? We just celebrated 1 year of us all going into hibernation, and it feels like Rip Van Winkle. We just all woke up, and if you're a boss, you're now trying to navigate the idea of bringing your employees back to work. To talk about that today, Lawrence King, he is the CEO of Headstorm. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're a workplace culture expert. You're very passionate about this. Very low turnover at Headstorm. You had to come up with a unique way to bring your employees back to work.
That's right. That's right. We thought long and hard about it, and a lot of the ideas we didn't want to be too general. We wanted it really to be tailored for our people. And so what we thought is just getting them out of their houses and let's engage them at the office and get us together in the first place. But we wanted to do it around something unique and something memorable, because at the time when the shutdown in place happened, we just moved into our new offices. We had no artwork. We had the furniture in, but the walls were completely white. And we engaged with one of my advisors, Brian Morrison, to come up with some ideas. And what we came up with was having our team come in and do their own art, abstract art on the walls. And so Brian put together we had some bars, and we had a mixologist that was in the space, and everybody got dressed up in gowns and head caps and face masks. And we went at painting all of our walls.
Wow, and that's a good tease, because we're going to show that in just a couple minutes. But I first want to explain what you guys do. So you build applications that your clients can bring to market, and it helps make their life easier, is that right?
That's right, that's right. So we'll build applications for them. Sometimes it's moving data back and forth. A lot of folks hear AI or machine learning. Well, data needs to get into those boxes that do that stuff and then pushed out, and we handle those two sides of the fence.
And you handle the security as well.
And the cybersecurity part as well. Part of building good and helpful applications is that they're secure and immune to some of the cybersecurity threats that are out there. So we take care of that as well.
And one of the projects that really impressed me is one that you did recently in Pittsburgh. Let's go ahead and roll that tape now.
How should we use space? How should we use space to make sure everybody has access, that it's safe, inventive, and not just based on what we have done in the past, but explores all the possibilities of the future. Curve.io is a simple map-driven collaboration tool, a unique way for cities, residents, community development corporations, and a variety of other advocacy and stakeholder groups to come together and equitably plan how to use space, indoor, outdoor, or anywhere you can imagine it on top of a map. We all have the opportunity to share expertise and craft the best use of space that rewards not only the citizens and the residents, but the small businesses and the variety of other stakeholders that are going to participate alongside the curb or the street. We wanted to invite you to join us at www.curb.io and join the free beta today.
So I envy you, because you're an engineer. My brain doesn't work that way. When you were presented with that problem, did you instantly see the solution, or does your team huddle? How did you come up with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we use a process called design thinking, and it's a methodology to engage with the end customer that'll eventually be using the application, and it's an iterative process. So we go through, we build a little bit of what we think that is valuable, and then we present in front of the customers, many customers in that matter, and then we get their feedback and we incorporate it back into the next iteration. And so in this case, we interviewed almost 300 users, potential users of the application to get their feedback. So this is really the culmination of everybody's input that would be using it.
Does it feel good? I mean, every industry has a win. You know, what is a win on the football field? You know what that looks like. For you, when the client gets the finished application and they love it, I mean, is that your win?
Oh, it's rewarding. You know, a lot of times the clients have had other firms perhaps build their applications, or internal employees build their applications, and many times they never even get to market. And there's just complexity in all of that. And so we really strive that every application we build gets to market. And so to have a client be happy with the outcomes and to see revenue for them generated from it is really fulfilling.
Yeah, and I can see why your employees love you and love being around each other in this company. In fact, the stunt, I'll call it a stunt, that you guys did to welcome your employees back got the attention of the local media. This is a piece that ran on Channel 8.
2020 was a tough customer. But for Lawrence King, CEO of a digital engineering company in Addison, the biggest concern from 2020 was that we'd forgotten 2019.
Perhaps not forgotten, but certainly missed. We've got a lot of younger employees, and they really experienced being isolated.
Lawrence says his company, Headstorm, prides itself on allowing employees to feel like family, which is why, for many of them, it was tough going from this to this.
It was a big impact. I mean, these are people that spend just as much time with their families as they do with their coworkers.
And that part was sorely missed.
So, when he made the decision recently to reopen the office, he turned to an advisor, Brian Morrison, for help.
Lawrence said at the beginning of this, let's remind everybody how great it is when we're together.
To welcome everyone back to work, Brian did something colorful. He covered the office in plastic, dressed everyone in disposable scrubs, and asked them to throw paint on the walls. Some painted company values, some painted each other, while others took out their frustrations on what has been an exhausting year.
Just the things that they put on there are remnants of how they felt.
You can see that in the work.
In the end, what they created will hang as a reminder of how it felt being apart, in order to never forget the beauty of working together.
It's motivational. If we were able to do this type of growth and positive change in the darkest of times, in the coming years, the sky's the limit.
In Addison, I'm Sean Giggy.
Wow, what a nice piece.
I love seeing it.
What was the reaction from your own employees to seeing that on the news?
They loved it. They loved being kind of recognized in the piece, and also having their artwork displayed for everyone else to see and share.
Yeah, I look back on the last year, and I remember when we were all doing Zoom meetings, and I think at first the novelty was kind of fun. Oh, we're going to do a Zoom happy hour or something like that. But then Zoom fatigue does set in. Did you find your employees were thrilled to come back to the office?
We did. They were thrilled to see each other. Like, I was thrilled to see them. We didn't hug, but we got some good elbow bumps in there. And then it was fun watching them interact with each other, because some of them haven't seen each other for almost a year.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of Zoom and a lot of Slack messaging and,
Yes.
and other communications, but nothing in person. And so,
Well, give some advice to the employers who are watching this or saying, okay, how do I navigate this? Because, you know, to mask or not to mask, to social distance or not to social distance, how did you navigate that?
we navigated it we had town halls every 2 weeks, and it was a transparent conversation with the employees. And we would all talk about it. We would hear their concerns. We would talk about our concerns, and a lot of these concerns we shared together. But at the end of the day, in our business, collaboration drives productivity and velocity, collaboration, and everyone, and it also drives the culture. A quick little story: when we came into the pandemic, and we had a really strong culture. and we had all of these events and festivities and stuff that were in person. And our first reaction was to take those events and put them online in Zoom, and that worked for about 2 months. But then what we found through these transparent conversations with our employees was that many of them started not being able to distinguish between work and their entertainment, right? And hey, this is a fun event, not a work event. And so for many young folks, they never experienced remote working. They don't know how to manage that work-life balance. And we wouldn't have known that had we not had these transparent conversations. And so my advice is speak openly with them and take their feedback, and then try to create a collaborative solution to get their buy-in. And when you get their buy-in, then you don't have the issues of, hey, perhaps the company's forcing us to do something, but it's done collaboratively.
I applaud you, because I mean, gone are the days of my way or the highway, because that just does not play with the millennials
Not at all.
and Gen Z. So I applaud you for creating such a wonderfully collaborative workplace.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, we're out of time, so we're going to put the website up to end the segment. It's at headstorm.com. Lawrence King, the CEO. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.